Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Are you ready?
Hey everybody, it's Jeff. I'm glad everybody's here. Boy, chilly today. Windy, but not too windy. I mean, about like 30-mile-an-hour gusts, I guess. I don't know. But you know, it was at least sunny, you know, for the day, and pretty clear out right now. When you go outside, you can see every damn star out there. So it's pretty clear and nice. So. And no snow on the ground, so it feels like, you know, like fall, or you know, or right around that time of the year. But like I said, you know, with the wind blowing, it makes it feel a little bit colder than it really is. So I got a couple of videos. They're not long ones. So this first one here I'm going to play for you is about Liz Cheney getting the Presidential Medal of Honor from President Biden, which has, as you might imagine, stirred quite a shitstorm with Democrats, at least some Democrats anyway, but it's been the talk of the town here for today. So I'm going to play the video, and then after that I'll discuss it with you. So let's go to the video.
Welcome to iHip News. The entire right wing is unraveling right now because President Biden gave Liz Cheney the, highest honor, the civilian medal. I am particularly mad at Joe Biden for this and the Democrats at large for this, because Liz Cheney has been complicit her entire political career in feeding the paranoia and the hate that MAGA has been able to live and get oxygen in. Number one, she fanned the flames of birtherism. Number two, she spread this lie for years and years and years. And I want to play this for you.
And that's to make sure that every American understands what today's Democrat Party stands for with respect to babies and with respect to the murder of babies. We have seen now in states across the country the introduction of legislation that would enable the killing of babies. This is not about abortion. This is about killing babies after they are born. And it is the face of pure evil. And you've seen the leadership of the Democrat Party here on the Hill remain silent.
Okay. This is not that long ago. And here is my fundamental problem with where we are politically right now. She fed this absolute lie, and there she is using Donald Trump's line, the Democrat Party, not the Democratic Party, but the Democrat Party, who Donald Trump himself said, yeah, I thought Democratic sounded too good, so I'm going to start calling them the Democrat Party. It's purposely insulting. The Democrats don't care. Nobody, is bedwetting over it. But this woman was complicit in the building, the breeding, the rocking, the petting, the nurturing of this far right-wing movement that led to the whole MAGA cult taking hold. And because she did the right thing and she saw what every normal person could see with their own eyes, that Donald Trump is a liar, that he's dangerous, and that he was behind January 6th. Oh my God, the Democrats are like, look, we have one We were able to get one. It is infuriating. It infuriates me to the core of my being that she did the bare minimum that a human being has to do, which is say, yes, that man is a liar. He's a terrible leader. He's dangerous. And he was clearly behind January 6th. That is the bare minimum any elected leader should do. And she does it, and everybody just forgets all of this crazy, complicit past where she fed the horror and the cancer that is this horrific right-wing movement that has completely ruined our country. And saying that Democrats want to kill babies after birth is a total lie. It is a monster of a lie, and she's never been held to account. Biden trotted her out yesterday. Kamala ran around after Kamala was doing such a good job browbeating Republicans, calling him weird. And then she started trotting Liz Cheney around. And I want to remind you how disgusting Liz Cheney is with regard to all of this. She has a sister that is a lesbian. And you know how all of these right-wingers think about the LGBTQ plus people? It's horrific. They have just spread horrible lies. And she never has the decency to stand up and say, hey, not only was Trump wrong in all of this stuff, but I was wrong. I was complicit. I bought into all of his bullshit, and I started calling it the Democrat Party. I lied and said that Democrats kill babies after they're born. I didn't really stand up for the LGBTQ plus movement. I've been on the side of the gun lobby. I've been on the side of the oil lobby. I'm up to my eyeballs as to why the Democrats are so proud that one person, and by the way, her father was an evil SOB, is an evil SOB that lied and started wars where hundreds of thousands of people died. The sainthood that she has been anointed disgusts me, and I think it is a huge problem in the Democratic Party.
I agree with you. I think that what people forget is she voted with Trump 96% of the time when she was in Congress. And we want to give her a parade for doing the right thing, for representing the United States instead of her own interest. Just because she was willing to do that doesn't, in my opinion, make her a hero. It makes the other members of the Republican Party cowards, because everybody saw what was January 6th. Everybody knows he didn't go to the transition. Everybody knows he engineered the insurrection. So making her a Presidential Medal of Honor recipient based on doing the right thing, it used to be that people in Congress and elected officials were required by their constituents to do the right thing. That is not the case here. And why the Democrats, particularly Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, are so enamored with one person that would stand up and say, what Trump did was wrong. What his acolytes are doing is wrong. What people in Congress are doing on behalf of Trump, January 6th, lying to the American people, that's wrong. She's a hero for doing the right thing. I don't know why we're rewarding it in such a way, particularly when Trump primaried her. She lost her primary. She's a multi-millionaire based on her father's wealth, her wealth. But like you said, she is a capitalist first and foremost. Lying about babies being executed after birth. She's preaching accountability to Donald Trump and the other Republicans. And I agree, they should be held to account. But where's her accountability?
If somebody wants to be enlightened, be fully enlightened. I welcome it. I completely welcome it. But to cherry pick and just kind of skate over all of these lies, fanning the flames of birtherism, which is so overtly racist. What this tells me is that Liz Cheney is like, listen, we can be covert racists and we can lie about the Democrats. We just have to be more tactful and tasteful about it. Donald Trump is too brash, and that exposes us for the hypocrites that we are. That's the message that I get from her. The message, if she would have gone out with Kamala or when she got this award and said, listen, this is deeper than Donald Trump. I was a part of the machine that radicalized a large portion of the American public and used people's religion to help radicalize them, used the abortion issue and helped radicalize these people that were already deeply indoctrinated in their faith. And I used that and I exploited it for my own personal gain. And that's before you ever get to Trump. Trump didn't just happen, poof, all of a sudden. It's the Liz Cheneys of the world for decades that enabled all of this crazy radicalized thinking to come to fruition that manifested Donald Trump. So my problem is with this whole Liz Cheney thing, like I'd like to have her on the podcast. I'd like to say, how do you really feel about your part? I know how you feel about Donald Trump, but can you sit here with a straight face and tell us, all of my political career, I stand 110% by everything I said and did, and I think I made the country a better place for having done it. My only flaw here is that initially in 2016, I voted for Donald Trump. Is that what you're willing to say? Because to me, then it's just all bullshit. It's the status quo bullshit that everybody hates on both sides. And so I just cannot believe we're normalizing. We've lowered the bar so low for Republicans.
Right.
That all you have to do is be honest part of the time.
Just a little bit of the time.
Just a fraction of the time that you could actually see that Donald Trump is a piece of shit. That's how low the bar is that Democrats have set for Republicans. But yet the bar for Democrats is astronomically high. So what I have to say to Democrats is lower the bar. Get your hands dirty. Get in there and say, yeah, I said that a few years ago, but who gives a shit? This is how I feel now. And just trot on, because it just enrages me, because in our state right now, there are women that are getting pregnant that cannot, for whatever their own personal reasons are, that cannot carry those babies to term because of people like Liz Cheney. She's complicit in taking away the rights of people, and she's complicit in perpetuating racism that Donald Trump did towards Barack Obama with the birtherism. She fanned the flames of all of that in a Larry King interview. So to me, this is such bullshit to prop her up. It's insulting to my intelligence. It's insulting to the American public. And there's a lot of stuff that Joe Biden did that I like, but I hate this shit. I cannot believe that nobody is holding her accountable for being complicit in feeding this cancer that is MAGA.
Yeah, a reward for doing the right thing and believing your own eyes. That's how low the bar is in the Republican Party. You're 100% right.
Okay, we'll see you guys later.
It's so entertaining. Tap the vein. So good.
So with at least these two ladies here on their show, they're really pissed off. Okay. And, I got to say here, in all honesty, okay, I never liked Liz Cheney because when she first came onto the scene, she was, pretty right-wing, okay? And the examples they cited about her being, accusing Democrats of being baby killers and being pure evil, okay, you don't walk away from something like that or get forgiven for that shit. And she did that for the entire time Trump was president, okay, the first time. That's how she talked to us, okay? That's how she talked to Democrats. We were basically the scum of the earth, okay? And she sided with Trump on most of the things that he wanted done, it's just, she was as Trump as you could get. And, plus she attacked President Obama, for accusing him of not being born in America, whatever, that was something Trump started right there. She sided with that. But the final straw, for her to suddenly turn against him was January 6th. Geez, you mean all the other things that he was saying or doing is stuff that wasn't enough to make you turn your head, but that was that one thing where Trump, instigated an insurrection, but that was going too far. That's the reason why I never liked her, okay? When I found out that they were seating her at the panel for the J6 hearings and stuff, I was like, what? I mean, Christ, she might even have been involved in it for herself, for Christ's sake. I mean, she was so pro-Trump, you know. She was probably behind it too. You know, she would have been the last person I would have picked to sit on that fucking panel. But no, not only was she sitting on it, she was the head of it. I'm like, oh, for Christ's sake. You know, I knew right then it was going to be a shit show when she was seated. But, you know, they told the public all kinds of things that were there. And it just seemed like after the hearing was done, nothing ever went anywhere after that. And it's like, you know, I wasn't really surprised about that either. You know? And my suspicions were always kind of circling around, why is she in this thing? Why is she involved so much in this thing? You know, I remember the things she said beforehand. Okay? I guess a lot of America just seemed to have forgotten that. But I remembered it because, you know, it pissed me the fuck off. That's why I was calling her Darth Vader's daughter. I mean, that right there, you know, I never forgot that. But when they selected her to sit on that, I knew something was not right about that. And I suspected that, you know, in some way, this was going to be a way for Trump to get away with January 6th. Which, you know, by all definition of what we think of justice in this, I mean, he did. I mean, he ain't sitting in prison, is he? Where he should be. He shouldn't have been running for president. He shouldn't even be sitting in the White House, or going to be anyway, because of this. You know? So, yeah, he got away with it. He instigated a fucking insurrection, and he got away with it. Because here he is back. He's going to be president again for another 4 years. You know? Law and order don't mean anything anymore because, not just because of Trump, but because of people who enabled him. And people like Liz Cheney, who practically built this guy, this Frankenstein, okay? Who's protected him and all that. These people have shattered law and order in this country where it's all in pieces on the table. We're going to have to sit here and reconstruct what law and order was. Because now, any asshole that wants to run for president has a criminal record, well, they're going to be able to do it because, hey, Donald Trump did it. And that's the new precedent. They're always going to point to this fucking asshole in days to come when some lowlife wants to be a president and has a criminal record here from here to San Antonio. Okay, it's not going to matter. Because, hey, Donald Trump did far worse, and, hey, we sat him down as president twice. Okay? So, yeah, Republicans are very, very good at lowering the bar. And as far as standards go in this country for leadership. I mean, take a look. Look at the friggin' morons they've been picking so far just to sit in Congress, let alone the presidency. These people are fucking nuts. The bar has to be low for them in order for them to continue to be a part of the system. Because to be a Republican, I guess you can't be a law-abiding citizen. I guess they're saying all Republicans are criminals because, hey, that's all we got in our selection pool here, are just criminals. We don't have any good people to put in there for leadership because we have none. So the bar has to be lowered for the Republicans because they're all criminals. You know? But, yeah, I'm mad at President Biden for giving her that fucking medal. I don't know why that happened. I really don't. I think there was some behind-the-scenes shit that made this happen. You know, and since Biden is going to be out of office here in less than 20 days here, I don't think he gives a shit. He's going to do what he does, and he's just say goodbye, and that's it. You know, you guys fucked me over, and, you know, maybe this is his way of getting back. I don't know. But I think it's an insult to the Presidential Medal of Honor that somebody like Liz Cheney gets it. You know, just like Time Magazine practically is what I call tabloid shit now because, hey, Donald Trump's Man of the Year. I don't care how they justify that. When you put a face of a man on the cover of a fucking major outlet like Time Magazine, people look at that and say, "Oh, he's something that we should know." They look at that as a positive thing because, although I mean, for everybody else, like you get your face on a box of Wheaties or something like that, these people are there because they're famous. They're positive things, okay? Well, when you do that on a magazine, you're sending out that same message, whether or not that's why you're doing it, okay? They're saying, well, his name was prominent all year long. Well, his name has been prominent all year long for the last 10 years, okay? So what are you going to do? You're going to put his face on every fucking cover of Time magazine for 10 years? No. That guy does not deserve to be on the cover, okay, of Time magazine, because that sends the wrong message. People don't see that as Time magazine telling people that he's been the talk of the town for a year. No, they look at that as Time magazine lifting up this man to be something to be recognized as an example. Okay, that's how we, the laymen, see that. That's why we're pissed off at that. That's why we're saying his face doesn't belong there. Somebody else's does. Because we take that as a positive thing when a magazine incorporates the face of a person on the cover of their fucking magazine. I mean, would we put Ted Bundy on Time magazine because he was the man of the year? I don't know. I don't know. I never read Time magazine way back then, so I don't know if they put his face on the fucking magazine. Maybe they did. But I think they really need to understand how that looks. Okay? They see it one way, but the rest of America sees it completely different. And it's pissing us off when they do shit like that. What they should have done was put Time magazine, the most hated man of the year, and put Donald. Then that would, on the cover, say that. That way people can't mistake that as a person being elevated to an icon, but being presented to you as infamous. Okay? The most infamous face on there. Okay? But yeah, that's how this looks. When a person like Liz Cheney gets the Presidential Medal of Honor, which should go to somebody who has done good and been good for the country, you know, for all their life or something, or done something, you know, for the country. Okay, that's good. But Liz Cheney, she sat on the hearing panel. Okay, whoopee fucking do. There's a lot of politicians that do that every fucking day in Washington, D.C., and do they get Presidential Medal of Honors? No. Okay, but Liz Cheney's got more bad baggage on her than she does this. Okay, she spent most of her time attacking Democrats, you know, talking about them like they're fucking scum of the earth. Okay, and because she turned her back on MAGA on this one issue, she'll never be able to go back to the Republican Party again, and rightly so. You know, because, hey, for MAGA, you know, if you turn against them on one thing, you're out. Well, with that, with the way they run things, that she turned against them, then yeah, she's out now. And she's trying to find a home with Democrats. Well, you know, go find another home somewhere else. We don't want you. At least I don't. I don't want to be associated with a fucking party that's going to crown somebody who called us baby killers, you know, and labeled us as pure evil. Okay, you can't turn around with strong opinions like that and do a 180 and all of a sudden you're different. No, something else went on that made her do this January 6th thing to go after Trump. Somebody got to her, maybe her own father, I don't know, maybe her father hates Trump's guts. Okay, and she didn't, but her father hated him, and he pressured her to go and you get on that fucking panel. Okay, maybe that's because, you know, Cheney couldn't, her father couldn't do anything, he was out. But trying to use his daughter, basically. I don't know, there could be a whole fucking drama behind the whole reason why Cheney decided she was going to turn against her kind in this thing. Maybe she thought there would be some kind of reward for her at the end of this to gain her some clout in politics, to gain her leverage, votes. I don't know. But certainly getting the Presidential Medal of Honor was probably something she didn't really want, okay, or even expect for that matter, okay? But she got it anyway, and I'm not really sure why that happened, okay? And I don't think anybody really does until we actually see what went on behind the scenes as to why this was necessary for Biden to give her that. Because I don't think it was given to her simply because she sat on the J6 panel. I think something else was going on, and it's probably got more to do about selfishness than anything, you know. And that's why I don't trust what he did here. I don't like what he did here. She doesn't deserve that fucking medal, okay? She's got a lot to answer for as far as, you know, trying to cozy up with the Democrat Party, because she's, you know, she's tarnished our name, or at least helped to, so that way MAGA would have more ammo to throw at us, you know, made up ammo, I guess. But, you know, she helped them to smear President Obama over some bullshit lie that Trump started. She fell right into that, hook, line, and sinker. You know, she protected the gun lobby. Every time there was a fucking mass shooting, you know, she was there to echo everything that was the gun lobby was saying. I mean, she's not a Democrat, people. Understand that right now. She does not belong with the Democrats. And she no longer belongs with the Republicans. She's really got nobody. And if we sit here and we forgive her in this manner by giving her this fucking Medal of Honor, okay, we're pretending that she's on our side. For how long, people? If she turned against MAGA, she'll turn against us all, you know, all over again. Okay? She's not somebody you want to trust. Believe me, she's not trustworthy. It runs in the family. You couldn't trust her father, you certainly can't trust the daughter. Jesus Christ. Anyway, let's go to a commercial break. We'll be right back.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me.
I'm Alex Curtis. I'm a lobsterman in Maine, and this is me.
I'm Ruth McLaughlin, and this is me.
I'm Eric Hopkins. I'm an artist, and this is me.
This
is me.
Me.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me.
At the end of the journey, the main thing is you, original.
A message for the U.S. Senate. Every action has consequences, and senators who vote for Trump's Project 2025 agenda are about to learn that. Trump's tariff plan is going to hit American families hard, and you'll be to blame. His team wants to end the biggest veterans health care program, and you'll be the ones who said our men and women who served lose their coverage. You'll be the ones who give billionaires like George Soros and Elon Musk huge tax cuts and screw middle-class workers. And don't be fooled. Elon and Trump are asking you to make cuts that hurt your state, your voters, real people. Not to save money, but to move it away from your state and into their pockets and to their friends and allies.
Breaking the law, 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 breaking the law.
Some people have a deep, abiding respect for the natural beauty that was once this country. And some people don't. People start pollution. People can stop it. Write for Pollution Booklet, Box 1771, Radio City Station, New York.
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime.
I loved it. It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I loved the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
Welcome back, everybody. Okay, so the second video I got here, it's about people in Trump's cabal demanding that he cancel the inauguration because they feel it's too dangerous, especially after what happened in New Orleans. I mean, I don't know how they equate that with something that might happen to Trump. But apparently there's a little bit of panic in D.C. right now where they're thinking that violence, political violence, or whatever kind of violence you want to describe this, is on the rise here. And Trump's not well liked, and, you know, it might be a bad time to have some big fucking inauguration happen here, and without adequate protection. In fact, you might just cancel it altogether and just do the fucking oath of office somewhere private where, you know, where it's out of public eye. I don't know. But anyway, let's go to the video and we'll discuss that after.
Top supporters is saying he needs to cancel his inauguration immediately. And this also comes as Donald Trump's inauguration and the certification of the electoral votes on January 6th was called into doubt or could be delayed as a result of the MAGA infighting and them trying to take out MAGA Mike Johnson. I just want you to think about this, but Michael Flynn, okay, someone who Donald Trump pardoned. Do you get more MAGA than Mike Flynn? Do you get someone more close to Donald Trump than Mike Flynn? Mike Flynn called on Trump to cancel his inauguration on D.C. on January 20th in the wake of the New Orleans attack. Quote, "There is too much work to do. Fly Trump Force One into D.C., land at Andrews Air Force Base, take the oath of office on board the plane, then fly Marine One from Andrews to the front lawn of the White House and take charge. We need to get to work. Have all the glass you want, or have all the gallows you want, once we've gotten rid of all of the illegals, gotten our economy back on track, achieved peace in the Middle East, and made Europe take care of their own defense. These must be accomplished before we start blowing horns and partying all night." Now, we wrote this up at MidasPlus.com. Have you checked out MidasPlus.com? MeidasPlus.com. That's our Substack. Our editor-in-chief, Ron Filipkowski, curates some of the top stories there. So please make sure you check that out. His daily recaps are the best. Filipkowski goes on to talk about no wonder why Flynn hasn't been appointed to anything yet by Donald Trump. There's nothing that Donald Trump loves more about being president than partying and golfing and doing all of that. Pomp and parades is frankly all that Donald Trump cares about, as long as he is the one being honored. He would never give those things up. That's other than keeping himself out of jail. It's one of the main reasons that Trump wants the job in the first place. He cares more about being worshiped than he does about any of the stuff bugging Flynn and MAGA. And what we're going to see, I do a lot of videos about this, is the F around and find out as Trump's supporters realize that they were conned and defrauded by Donald Trump. Also, former MAGA Pennsylvania Senate candidate Kathy Barnett, she chimed in. She's a big Trump supporter. I agree with General Flynn's assessment that Trump needs to forego yet another party and get down to brass tacks. Unfortunately, Mar-a-Lago appears to be a non-stop poolside party. Republicans seem incapable of passing up an opportunity to frolic. And let's be clear, Donald Trump is Mr. Frolicker in Chief. Over the past few weeks, what has he been doing? He's been golfing almost every single day. And then he chimes in belatedly when Elon Musk starts running the show in the House of Representatives. Trump then chimes in and makes some statement about eliminating the debt ceiling or extending the debt ceiling to 2029, or Trump goes on to make some threats about Greenland or Mexico or Canada or Panama, causes a controversy, and then he frolics back to playing golf. Now, I've given this example before, but it's worth repeating right now. And this is the type of language that I think General Flynn or Mike Flynn, whatever you want to call the guy, would understand. Okay. Could you imagine for a second if President Xi Jinping was out there golfing all day and then in between golf sessions posting that he was going to take over Japan? Then at the next hole, President Xi Jinping then posted a meme of himself in a building in Tokyo on top of it with the Chinese flag. And then President Xi Jinping said that he's going to make all of the Japanese leaders become members of the CCP and work underneath Xi Jinping. Imagine if he said that. Don't you think that we here in America and those throughout the world would say, whoa, he's about to invade Japan? How do you think the leaders of Japan would feel? Would you think, oh no, that's just President Xi Jinping, the troll? Ha ha ha, look, he's trolling. No. When leaders speak, their words need to have substance behind it. They're not just trolls, okay? But when it comes to Donald Trump and he makes threats about Mexico or Canada or Panama or Greenland, first off, I believe that they should be taken seriously. Let me be clear. I don't think that it should be. And by the way, the countries do. Canada's beefing up its armed forces. Greenland, which is part of the Kingdom of Denmark, they are beefing up their military forces to protect against the United States. But quite frequently, we see, for example, President Macron of France and the Prime Minister of Poland mocking Donald Trump's weird handshakes, world leaders laughing at Donald Trump, and generally just viewing Trump as a troll. If you're going to threaten to invade countries and then you don't actually do it, what do you think, Flynn, that our enemies think about Trump when he does that, right? What do you think Vladimir Putin thinks about Trump when he does that? What do you think President Xi Jinping thinks about that when Trump does that? Oh, he's just going to go and frolic. All he cares about people worshiping him. He's just going to post some meme of himself looking like Moses, some weird AI meme of himself looking like Moses and praising himself as though he's some savior. It is some weird stuff. And when Flynn here is talking about making Europe take care of their own defense, Flynn, do you mean making Europe take care of their own defense against Donald Trump, who's threatening them? Like, I thought this whole MAGA crowd was Donald Trump's going to stop World War III crowd. Wasn't that your whole shtick, that Trump's going to be the one who stops a World War III from happening? But it seems that Trump is using language to be the bad guy in World War III right now. So no, Trump's charging $100,000 a pray for play scheme, $100,000 to pray with him at the inauguration. Trump's going to take as much money as he can get in the inauguration. Trump, again, he's at Beach Boy concerts. He's got Vanilla Ice. He's got Lara Trump singing at Mar-a-Lago. This reminds me, if you go back to Middle Ages, of the kind of decadent, out of touch courts that the kings would have, who were so out of touch with society and the feelings. I mean, America's at a moment where CEOs and billionaires and oligarchs who are spiking the football with their wealth and their perceived power, that they're rubbing it in the faces. Americans want housing, healthcare, education, and lower prices. Housing, healthcare, education, and lower prices, while these billionaires are out there buying yachts for their yachts, for their yachts, for their yachts. They're buying 10 private jets. They are flaunting their wealth. And you know where they're flaunting it? In the village of frolic, Mar-a-Lago. That's what we see going down right there. And so while all of that's being displayed at Mar-a-Lago, that's all we're going to see, Flynn. You know that. Trump's going to golf like almost every day. When they talk about Nero, who was fiddling as Rome burned, I think that is a perfect description of Trump at Mar-a-Lago, except it ain't a fiddle. It's like Vanilla Ice and Lara Trump taking Tom Petty lyrics, songs, while Donald Trump is selling his Trump guitars. Are you kidding me? So that's Flynn wanting Trump to cancel his inauguration and other MAGA supporters. But then, of course, and I've covered this in other videos, you've got MAGA Mike Johnson, the fight within the MAGAs over making MAGA Mike Johnson the speaker or not. Like that whole fight threatened at least to delay the inauguration and the counting of the electoral votes. So just think about that, people. You got Mike Flynn saying, Trump, cancel the inauguration. And Trump saying, nope, I got to take $100,000 for people praying with me. Trump invited President Xi Jinping to the inauguration. I thought Trump was going to be he's so tough on China that he changed his own position on the TikTok ban, which had bipartisan support as a way that the CCP was conducting surveillance on American citizens, is what a bipartisan senators, Republicans, and Democrats felt. And Trump felt. Trump issued the first executive order to ban TikTok in the summer of 2020. But now he invites President Xi to the inauguration so that they can frolic together, and then reverses his own TikTok ban concept. Why? Because Jeffrey Yass and others, big donors, want in on it. They want to be involved and make money from this TikTok transaction. Think about it. Just laying out the facts, laying it out there. We hit subscribe. Let's get to 4 million subscribers, and check out MidasPlus.com if you.
Well, I mean, look, this is what I think. They wouldn't be saying this if they didn't have a reason, okay? We can't just say that this is, people just being paranoid or something. If they're telling Trump something like this, then maybe they have information that suggests that perhaps there could be plans somewhere in the works to somehow sabotage Inauguration Day. Look, he hasn't made a very good start before his presidency here. I mean, he's pretty much tanked his fucking approval numbers here in just the last 2 months. All right, and and then of course, who could forget about the assassination attempts while he was running? Whether or not they're real is beside the point. Fact is, it created drama. It fueled the anger and stuff in this country. Okay, it has its own backlash, and so. You got that going on, and then you got this thing here in New Orleans going on where a terrorist strike, or it could have been worse because there were bombs everywhere, IEDs. There could have been things. It could have been worse, and this happening so close to you know, inauguration day. It might have been a message or something. You know, who knows? I mean, it's hard to decipher all this shit out unless you work in the Department of Defense, or if you work in FBI or CIA or something. You know, that you look at this shit all the time. Okay, it could mean that there's a terrorist cell in this country operating. They may not have caught all the people. I don't think they have, to be honest. What happened in New Orleans, they didn't get everybody. This guy wasn't acting alone. They pretty much said that because somebody had to set all the bombs, and he was driving a pickup. These bombs had to have been there already, or they were being put there while he was doing what he was doing. So there was more than one person involved, and they haven't caught the other people yet. So, you know, there's that worry that, you know, maybe they'll show up in D.C. on Inauguration Day and do something there, you know. And, you know, so it's certainly plausible. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of people that would probably pay good money to see, you know, Donald Trump put down, you know, and there's all kinds of people lining up to do it. You know, I feel like, you know, hey, I mean, maybe, you know, canceling it wouldn't be such a bad idea. But, you know, Trump has a hell of an ego, okay? And he loves to showboat, okay? He really does. I mean, you saw how he handled when he got shot, or shot at, I should say, and it nicked his ear. He told the people, and you could hear it when you play back the video. He's like, he tells them, hold on, while they were trying to get him off the stage. He's telling the people that were carrying, hold on, and then he raises his hand. He looked at that as an opportunity to make a photo op, that someone's going to take a picture of that, and of course they did. There's cameras everywhere. He raises his fist up, fight, okay? And then that becomes a poster, you know, of him, you know, what I'm saying? It was, he knew that, oh, this is going to be a great sell, you know, he's thinking like on a whole different plane. Doesn't matter, I got hit in the ear. This is a perfect photo op, you know. And then he tells the people that are trying to get him off the stage, hold on, you know, and then he raises his fist. I mean, it was so ridiculous, okay? He made it look like it was all staged by doing that, as for one thing, you know. But the thing is he did that. And if something happens at the inauguration, I mean, I think he'd look at that as a positive. He'd say, oh, great, you know, I'll be a victim again, because that's what he plays well at, you know. He plays the victim all very well. And so him defying General Mike Flynn in his warning about it and going there anyway, he's probably hoping somebody will. He figures, oh, I'll be protected. You know, I'm going to be behind this big fucking transparent aluminum alloy thing, whatever the fuck they call it, that's bulletproof. No one's going to be able to get me. But if they try, I'm still going to be there. You know, I'm still going to be standing. It's like in the Elton John song. You know, he'll still be standing, even while all hell is breaking loose around him, because he's being, you know, taking the oath. He's still going to be there at the end. So I'm sure that's what he's thinking. You know, he's fantasizing about that right now, I bet. So will he cancel the inauguration? I don't think so. I think he's going to go along with it. I think he'll just throw it on the hands of security to redouble their efforts, you know. But I think, you know, at the same time, no matter which way it goes, he thinks it's going to be a positive. He probably would like it better if he was inaugurated under fire. Okay, I think he would love it if that was the way it turned out. It would be horrific for all of us normal people to see that happen. But for him, it's, hey, let's celebrate it. I was shot at today, you know, geez, you know, that's the way he's going to look at it. He'll go to Mar-a-Lago and they'll throw a goddamn party there with fireworks and everything. That, oh, hey, I was shot at today while I was being sworn in. That's the way he's going to look at it. You know, because that's the kind of guy he is. I mean, look, people, when somebody thinks like that, if I went online and said something like that, people would call me a fucking lunatic, okay? If I went online and said, I hope somebody shoots at me today so that way I could go around and say, oh, look, I did this while I was getting shot, they'd say, you're fucking nuts. But, oh, because Trump would do something like that, it's not nuts, it's great. You know, that's the kind of leader we want. You know, stands in the face of violence, you know, and doesn't care. You know, this is the way MAGA thinks. That's why we can't trust MAGA anymore about anything to do with government, okay? Forget it. Anybody they pick to run for a seat and anything, Senate, Congress, even fucking dog catcher, don't trust it. These people don't know how to pick people to lead a country. They don't know how to govern. You know, they pick people that have hidden mysteries, people that have, you know, had sex with 2-year-olds all their fucking life or something, you know, or some goddamn thing that they want kept secret. But when it comes out, they got no choice but to cover it up somehow. And it doesn't matter to them. But if it's a Democrat, oh, and they do it, yeah, burn them at the stake. Okay, that's what they do. But you see, Republicans, they don't have anybody with any decent character anymore. All those people have left the MAGA movement. They've gone some to the Democrats, or they went to the center. Okay, but they don't inhabit that fucking group of people anymore. So all they got to pick through are the criminals. That's all they have. And so what happens when criminals get out in public? I mean, look, we got plenty of fucking history about that. Let's take a look at the mafia. You know, these people, the mob bosses, I mean, you know, they can't really walk around freely without protection. You know, gang shootings and stuff like that. We got history in this country of that shit that's happened time and time again. You know, and it's because they're all criminals. All of them. No matter which one who is shooting at whoever, they're all criminals. So when you put a criminal in the position of president, that's going to draw some more drama, mafia-type drama. People are going to be trying to hit on this guy, you know, and knock him off. You know, this is what he does. He hangs around with the lowlifes in the country. Okay, he always has. This guy is it's more than just him being wealthy. I mean, we get annoyed with people with all kinds of money and they do nothing good with it. This goes beyond that with Trump. He's more than that. If you took the money away from Trump, he would still be a criminal, because that's what is in his damn bones. It's in his DNA, for Christ's sake. He's flawed, fundamentally flawed, okay? And it wouldn't come out, okay, so long as keeps his wealth. But if you take the money away from him, it would have been discovered, because somebody would have taken him off the streets, had him diagnosed with something, and he'd have that. Okay, people would know that he's got, you know, whatever. I'm not going to name anything because that would make those people look bad. I'm just going to say they would find out he's got a mental problem. Okay, but as long as he's got money, people idolize him because he's wealthy. You know, we do that in this country. We idolize the wealthy, and that goes for everyone, even celebrities, okay? We always put these fucking people on a pedestal all the time, and that's really the wrong thing to do. All right? They got their money because they worked, for the most part, okay? They earn that money. That doesn't mean that we should hail them as princes and queens and kings and shit like that. But we do that. You know, we were supposed to leave that shit behind when we left England all those years ago, okay? You know, but it's in our blood, I think. You know, and I'm going to say white people. You know, I think for white people, it's in our blood. But we don't look at people the same. We can't help ourselves, I think. You know, I just feel like because Trump's got money, he's given celebrity status. Even when he fails at every business venture he's into, he still maintains that celebrity status because he's wealthy. Okay? And, you know, he draws a lot of attention to himself. And this is really, you know, for him, that's a bad thing, because the more attention he gets, the more he wants. Okay, and he'll get it any way he can, even if it's to stage some kind of a thing to happen to him somewhere. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he's done that already, but I'm just saying he would do it if there was given an opportunity to do it. He would. It would not be shocking. And here's this other thing here. Let me hold on a second. I want to bring this up because while I was talking about that, you know, this came to mind, was that Tesla, the Cybertruck that exploded in Las Vegas here yesterday, was it? Okay, let me read this article here from CNN. And it says what we know about the suspect in the Las Vegas Cybertruck explosion. Despite the symbolism that might be associated with exploding a Tesla Cybertruck outside the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas, that could be another reason why they want to cancel this inauguration. Law enforcement officials said yesterday they were still trying to piece together why a 5-time Bronze Star recipient and new father would orchestrate the New Year's Day blast. Zeroing in on a motive seemed complicated by the early portrait emerging of the Tesla's driver, Matthew Allen Livelsberger, 37, of Colorado, who died in the incident that injured 7 others. A family member and former Army colleague described him as a highly decorated combat veteran whose background in special forces and explosives seemed at odds with a blast which relied in part on fireworks. And, they said, Livelsberger had a strong love of country, particularly the president-elect. When President Trump was in office, Livelsberger would comment on his Facebook page about the things President Trump had said or done or how he's helping the military. The relative who asked not to be named told CNN, quote, Matt had a lot of respect for Mr. Trump. He just loved the guy, unquote. Now that could be because, remember all that shit I was telling you about with Musk, between Musk and MAGA and all them, and how MAGA's getting pissed at Musk? You know, it might be somebody that doesn't like Musk took his Tesla, and maybe Musk was at that hotel. I don't know. But, you know, the things that were going on here this week here in MAGA world, you know, been pretty nasty. A civil war is not an understatement, what's been going on here these last 7 days here. Livelsberger was not affiliated with a political party, according to the Colorado Secretary of State voter registration database. An active duty U.S. Army Green Beret, Livelsberger was on leave from his base in Germany at the time of the blast. A combination of fireworks, gas tanks, and camping fuel in the bed of the vehicle detonated by a device controlled by the driver. According to law enforcement, he died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound in the driver's seat shortly before the explosive in the trunk of the Tesla detonated. So he had it maybe on a timer or something, and he shot himself, and then it just went up. U.S. officials familiar with Livelsberger's military record told CNN he had been diagnosed with depression last year, but had not been assessed to be a risk of violence or suicide. Livelsberger's body was so badly burned, authorities identified him through charred identification cards and partial tattoos visible on his body. They said they are awaiting DNA and medical findings to make a final confirmation. Investigators fanned out this week, interviewing his family and friends and digging into phones and computers for clues. Livelsberger's social media presence was sparse, and at the time of the explosion made very few, if any, references to politics. Quote, it's not lost on us that it's in front of the Trump building, that it's a Tesla vehicle, unquote. Spencer Evans, special agent in charge of the FBI Las Vegas division, said at a news conference Thursday, quote, but we don't have information at this point that definitively tells us or suggests it was because of this particular ideology. The day before the explosion, Livelsberger appears to have sent an email to someone online saying he was in possession of a massive V-bead, or vehicle-borne improvised explosive device, of course, and was armed, according to a copy reviewed by CNN. Law enforcement has reviewed the message and examined where this email originated and believes it was written by Livelsberger. A law enforcement official familiar with the investigation confirmed that to CNN. The email expressed conspiratorial concerns about government agencies, quote-unquote, tracking him, and suggested he had planned to travel to the U.S.-Mexico border The writing, CNN reviewed, did not make any reference to President-elect Trump Hotel in Las Vegas, or Tesla. The Las Vegas explosion bore some striking similarities to the deadly attack in New Orleans earlier the same morning, when a driver with a U.S. military background plowed a pickup through into a crowd celebrating New Year's on Bourbon Street, killing 14 people. Both perpetrators used the company called Turo to rent their vehicles. Both of the subjects served at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, said Kevin McMahill, I guess, sheriff of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, at a Thursday news conference in reference to the military base known as Fort Liberty. Quote, "What we do know about that is it's a very large military base, and we have no record that they served in the same unit or even at the same years at Fort Bragg," unquote. McMahill added, both men served in Afghanistan in 2009, though there are no indications they served in the same unit or province. A fellow member of the Green Berets who served with Livelsberger in Afghanistan said a key focus of their mission was to dismantle a network of Taliban-aligned forces who had been detonating car bombs in and around Kabul in an effort to destabilize the government. The former colleague, who asked not to be identified, said their unit was often tasked with keeping a crucial highway clear of improvised explosive devices. Hence, that's how they know how to do these things. Quote, "They would just be set up all along the highway, and it seemed like, especially towards the tail end of the deployment, a lot of guys were getting struck," unquote, he said. Quote, "Luckily, our unit was never struck, but other units that collocated with us got struck by IEDs," unquote. The fellow soldier, who had kept in touch with Livelsberger since their deployment, said he didn't know whether the explosion of the Cybertruck was in any way inspired by the kind of attack so common a feature in the unit's mission. The military colleague said he was shocked by the incident in Las Vegas, especially given Livelsberger's impressive credentials, a Green Beret with a background in communications, IT, and tactical unmanned aerial vehicles, aka drones. Okay, Livelsberger also steadily advanced his rank in the military to Team Sergeant, the second in command to the captain in the Special Forces Detachment, a position he held until recently, the fellow soldier said. Quote, "You don't have to be a genius to say this guy's going to have his pick of options for career field when he gets out," unquote, the soldier said. Perhaps. Okay, perhaps. Okay, my job that I had when I was in the Air Force dealt with ordnance and explosives, and that was no guarantee I was going to have a job outside the fucking military unless I wanted to be a terrorist for hire, okay? Livelsberger was an Army Special Forces Operations Master Sergeant, a senior enlisted rank according to 4 U.S. officials. He was on active duty in Germany with the 10th Special Forces Group, but was on leave at the time of the incident, 3 officials said. Livelsberger's relative, who said he hadn't spoken with him in at least a decade but saw updates of his life through Facebook posts, remembered Livelsberger as an intelligent and popular student in high school. Well, military changes you, especially if you've been in combat. You might have been cute and nice then, but after that, you're different. Quote, "He played most of the usual sports, was often the captain of the team," unquote, he said. The relative said Livelsberger wanted to be in the Special Forces from a young age and was very successful in his career, which included several tours in Afghanistan. Quote, "If he really wanted to hurt people, he could have hurt a lot of people," unquote, he said. Quote, "But that is not in his nature. It was never in his nature," unquote. Well, that's then. This is now. Livelsberger's military colleague described him as a quote-unquote big-hearted member of the unit who procured toys for Afghan kids and helped build a doghouse for a stray dog adopted as a pet on the base. Quote, "Even in a place like Afghanistan where one's heart can be hardened by the nature of the mission, he never seemed to go down that path and always seemed to have his humanity very much in place," unquote. His former military colleague told CNN he'd stay in occasional touch with Livelsberger since the end of their deployment and even sent a gift when he became a father in April last year, Livelsberger's second wife, who he married in 2022, sent the colleague a thank you letter, he said. She did not respond to requests for comment from CNN. The fellow soldier said his friend had never indicated he was struggling, either during their deployment to Afghanistan, where they experienced combat, or afterward. Quote, "It just makes me sad to know that maybe something was going on with Matt and none of us knew," unquote, he said. After briefly choking up, quote, "We all would have obviously reached out and done anything we could to help him." Well, that's a very cliched kind of ending to somebody that does something like this. Nobody seems to know that these people are suffering, okay, until after the fact. That happened here in Maine here not too long ago, where a guy went to a bowling alley and shot up the fucking place. But the thing is that this is the reason why, I think, General Mike Flynn was, kind of hint, let's cancel this fucking inauguration. Things are too hot out there right now. There's a lot of anger. This Tesla explosion in front of a Trump building, They say it might not be a message, but it certainly looks like one, seeing how you got Elon Musk married to Donald Trump here. Okay, and they say, oh, well, he wasn't really politically active. Well, isn't it kind of a coincidence that this happens right at this time where the MAGA community is basically trying to kick Musk's ass to the curb because they don't want to hear from him. Okay, they think he's too cozy with Trump. They don't like this guy. He's not even an American citizen. They want him the hell out of the system. They didn't vote for him. That's what these people are saying. They didn't vote for Musk. They don't want him associating or being that close to Trump. Okay, and it's funny that these people will suspect that Musk is up to something, but they wouldn't pick up that kind of attitude from Trump while he was running for president. But they know Musk is not to be trusted. Okay. Frankly, I can't really believe you guys have that kind of an instinct to know what's right and wrong, because Trump is probably the most wrong thing that could ever gotten by you, and you didn't even smell it. Okay? Or if you did, you didn't give a shit. But Musk, no, we can't, no, he's the bad thing. He's a bad thing. We don't want him anywhere near Trump. Okay? So, frankly, what MAGA thinks about all this is really, ridiculous, I think, okay? They don't like Musk because Musk is not American, he's not a Republican, or at least he doesn't participate, in the political things in this country unless it has something to do for him, okay? If Democrats were kissing his ass, he'd be out there around with Biden all the time, right? Ain't gonna happen. Trump's a fellow billionaire, whatever, and birds of a feather and all that, okay? But with all this fighting going on right now on the right wing, and there's all kinds of people like me following this thing and posting videos about it, because I play some of the videos here. There's a lot of people following this, and it's like, it's an incredible circus of shit going on right now in MAGA world, okay? These people are fucking livid, because first they didn't like it that the Democrats were calling Musk the president-elect and Trump would be the vice president. They didn't like that. They didn't like the idea that Musk was actually out there fighting with these people with 3 different names on a fucking account, I think on his X thing there, and he's pretending to be 2 different people and stuff just because he can't find anybody to defend him. But he's out there attacking people at MAGA, telling them to shut their mouth and all, and they know it's him. Okay? They know it's him because the voice changer he uses doesn't really disguise his voice very well. They know it's him talking. But he's out there doing all this shit, and it's creating this big fucking whirlwind of hell in MAGA world, and these people cannot stand it. And on top of that, Trump goes out, says things that he says he's not going to do, that he told MAGA that he was going to do. Now he's backpedaling on that, and that's pissing them off even more. So MAGA world is like going through a volcanic eruption. You know, like Mount St. Helens here. They are going crazy. All right. So by the time we get to Inauguration Day here in 17 days, okay, who knows where this fight is going to be at that point, how heated things are going to get. And I would just say, anything could happen at that inauguration. Anything's capable of happening. And the thing that really you can't really laugh about is that if something doesn't happen to him, it could happen to other people, innocent people that didn't, aren't even in the know about any of this shit. Somebody could get hurt. Innocent people could get hurt. And you think Trump would care? If he survived? Of course not. You think he gave a shit about that person that got shot, that first assassination attempt? He never even offered any condolences to the family of that person that was shot. But President Biden did. He never even offered any fucking apologies or any condolences to the family. Okay? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Okay? And it's just, it's sad, but that's what would happen. If somebody tried to do something to him on Inauguration Day and they miss and they hit somebody, or the explosion doesn't get him, I mean, Christ, how many times they try to kill Hitler while he was running Germany? and at the end, it was only his own hand that killed him. But nobody could ever get to this guy. Trump's got that same goddamn kind of protection around him where nobody can touch this fucking guy. You could drop an atom bomb on this fucking man and he'd survive it while everybody else would be burnt to ashes. Okay? That's the kind of protection this guy got. Only from the devil can he get protection like that. Only from the devil. Okay? Only the devil would protect a man with no class, no moral compass. Okay? Only somebody like that would the devil protect. Just like Adolf Hitler. Same fucking thing. That man could only die by his own hand. Nobody else could kill this son of a bitch. So, this inauguration, if anything happens here, he probably won't get hurt, but everybody else will. So, canceling the inauguration would be good for everybody else if they just didn't show. Okay? Because Trump won't cancel it. He won't cancel it because he's going to look at that as an opportunity to make himself a victim again. But as far as anyone else that's going to be there, I would tell them, you might not want to show for that thing because something is probably going to happen. If the security isn't tight, something might happen and you don't want to be there. This guy draws fucking drama. This guy's a fucking magnet for it. I don't know how many fucking ways that I can explain it to people. Okay? Everywhere he goes, there's always a fucking nuisance going on around him. All the wrong people flock to this guy. He's dangerous. He's dangerous just for breathing the air. He's dangerous. I mean, Christ, as long as this guy draws breath, people are in danger. I don't care what anybody from MAGA thinks about what I'm saying here, about that saying I'm going crazy. I don't care. You guys have already proven how crazy you are, so you got no fucking room to talk. All right, but just think about that for a minute. Just think about that. You take this last year here of his goddamn campaign. What they call it a campaign. It was a shit show was what it was. It was no fucking campaign. Okay, it was just him doing his his band tour basically. Saying the same tunes everywhere he went, okay, and none of it making any sense. That's all it was. He offered them nothing, okay. He wanted everything from them. He was selling them crap to make money, which I don't know what he did with that money. Okay, it doesn't really matter anyway. He didn't need it anyway. But okay, it was like a fucking flea market he was running while he was out there doing his campaign, and he played everybody in this country like a fiddle from hell. I mean, that's sad. That so many people got suckered into this son of a bitch. Okay? And so many Democrats thought that they couldn't win this thing because their one issue that they were so adamant about seeing fixed wasn't being talked about as the only topic in the campaign in Kamala Harris's campaign, okay? Fuck you guys. You know, your issue isn't the only issue in the whole fucking country that we have to worry about. All right? First and foremost, the president has to take care of the United States of America. Anything else going on in the rest of the world, that's secondary, okay? Unless we are directly threatened by it. And we weren't directly threatened by anything going on in Gaza and fucking Israel. That shit started over there. It should end there, on their ground, by their hand, not us. Okay? You want to go over there and do something to help out on there? Then get on a plane and go over there and enlist in their service. If it means that much to you, then get your ass over there and stop, you know, clogging up the streets with your fucking signs and everything. Okay? Stop disrupting life in this country. You know, put some action behind your mouth. Christ. But this country has no obligation, I don't give a shit if they're allies, got no obligation to end other people's fights. They started it, they'll finish it. So anyway, that's it for today. And I hope everybody has a great weekend. So please, you know, subscribe, comment, and share. Keep your ears open for any health-related issues. And treat each other well. Try to stay strong as we get closer to the inauguration. And, oh, by the way, you know, a lot of thing being discussed here about the avian flu and the chickens and all them getting sick and everything. You know, make sure if you're going to be eating anything like that, chicken and things, make sure that that chicken's cooked well if you're going to cook it, all right, just to be safe. Don't ever eat chicken and where there's still blood in it and shit like that. Cook that motherfucker good, because, you know, you don't want to get sick with that, okay? Especially in the restaurants, because, look, today I went and ate over at Applebee's, okay? I wanted a steak well done. Comes to me, blood running out of it, okay? It's like that. You know, if you order chicken in a restaurant and it comes to you and it doesn't look cooked, don't eat it. Tell them to bring it back, cook it again, okay? Don't take any chances with that, all right? Because, you know, that's not good. You don't want to put that in your body. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys later, and take care.